2, 1.
Oh, yay, oh, yay, oh, yay. This Honorable Supreme Court of Tennessee is now in session. The Honorable Chief Justice Jeff Bivens presiding. God save the United States of America, the state of Tennessee, and this honorable court.
Thank you, Mr. Hibner. And I want to say a special welcome to everyone today for this special day. We are very happy to participate in this and for the culmination of what has been a long journey for each of you that are new admittees. We also want to say a special welcome to those family members and friends who are watching on our YouTube live feed today. We are very happy that you're able to join us and participate in this happy day for your friend or family member. Over the past many years, we have done this ceremony in person across the state at different times. And for the February bar, we have generally done it at least in one location in Nashville. And then in November, for those who have passed the July bar, we have traveled across the state as a court to do those. Obviously, with the COVID situation over the past year, we've not been able to do that. But we felt it's important to continue to have a special ceremony for each of you that want to participate to celebrate this culmination of such hard work over the years with your new admittee as a lawyer in Tennessee. So as a result, we have done this the past couple of times for those who successful applicants. We're happy to continue doing that. As Mr. Hibner has laid out to those of you that are new admittees here today, and I'll go over again, particularly for those that have just joined us by live stream. Once I finish some very preliminary remarks, I will ask Michelle Greenway Sellers, who is the current president of the Tennessee Bar Association, if she would like to give a few remarks to the new admittees. After she is finished, then we'll begin our actual admission ceremony when we will have we have about 20 attorneys here, new attorneys here today that we will be swearing in. We will go through each one individually. Some have individual sponsors that they have asked on their own. Those that have not will be introduced to the court by Ms. Sellers as the president of the Tennessee Bar Association, and will move for their admission. Once we have concluded the motions and proceedings for each individual person, it's important to remember that each of the new admittees need to stay on with the ceremony, because we were not over until I give the oath of office, which will be at the conclusion of that. I don't want to take up much of your time here today with opening remarks. This is your day, not ours. But I do just wanted to say a special congratulations to you. It is always an incredible accomplishment to finish law school successfully, to pass the bar, and to begin the privilege of practicing law. But I think it's particularly fitting to pay tribute to those of you who in the past year have done so. I know it has had to have been an incredible challenge for you to continue with law school, with the bar exam, with a different bar exam. So it's taken many of us out of our comfort zone, but yet you have successfully completed all of those. And for that, I offer my heartfelt congratulations, and as well as on myself individually and as a court as the whole. We're very proud of you, and we want to thank you and congratulate you for doing that. Also would remind you to make sure and take this opportunity to thank your friends and family, because no one can get through law school and the bar exam without support from family, support from friends. And today is a good day to remember that and to say a special thank you to those people. I also want to take this opportunity to remind you that practicing law in Tennessee is truly a privilege. And with that privilege comes responsibilities. One of the biggest responsibilities you will have as a lawyer is to help those individuals who are Tennessee citizens who are unable to afford to pay for a lawyer. With this privilege comes the opportunity and the responsibility to return something back to the state, to return something back to your profession. And to do that is whether it be through working with pro bono associations, through the legal aid community, or in whatever way you see fit. we encourage you and ask you to please participate in that to help those receive proper legal representation so that we can truly move toward equal access to justice for every Tennessean in this state. It's an important part of what we do. So please remember that, take that to heed. I'm sure some of you have already participated in that way through clinics at law schools and things of that nature. And for those of you that have, I would encourage you to continue to do so. For those of you that have not yet done so, please do so as soon as possible. You can do so very quickly and help out some of those folks who need it most. That's become particularly true during the COVID pandemic and the many myriad of legal issues that have arisen through that and will continue to be out there even as we start to recover from the pandemic. So with that, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I want to, as I say, this to be a time to focus on you and for this to be your special day. So with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Greenway Sellers and give her an opportunity to speak to each of you on behalf of the Tennessee Bar Association.
Thank you, Chief Justice Bivens. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to say a few remarks. My name is Michelle Greenway Sellers, and I'm the president of the Tennessee Bar Association for one more week. During the last couple of years, I've had the privilege of being involved in several swearing-in ceremonies. And as I near the end of my presidency, I can honestly say that this is perhaps the best part of my job, to congratulate you on your accomplishments and to welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee. My favorite part of today is that everyone leaves with a smile on their face. This is truly a great day. I know that many of you have friends and family who have been instrumental in this journey. On behalf of the bar, I want to thank them for their sacrifices and their encouragement. And I would echo Chief Justice Bivens' comments that you should thank them for their help along the way. The journey has been different for everyone here today. What called you to law school, motivated you to do the work and to sit for the bar has been unique to each of you. And while our differences will bring strength to the profession, we share an enduring loyalty to the core principles which define who we are in the profession: civility, respect for the rule of law, and an agreement to hold ourselves to higher standards for the benefit of the public. The practice of law can be difficult, but it can also be very rewarding. You are entering the profession at a time of change. There will be opportunities for your leadership and your guidance, and I encourage you to embrace those opportunities and help shape the future of our profession. I encourage you to get involved in your local bar associations and the Tennessee Bar Association Young Lawyers Division. You will get so much out of involvement in those organizations. They will help you gain friendships, get involved in pro bono activities, and when you need help in your daily work life, those individuals will be people that you can go to at any time you will find for help. Know that you are part of a legal family that stretches out across the state of Tennessee. We are a caring profession. We stand ready to help. We are very proud of you and your accomplishments, and we look forward to you joining our ranks. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Greenway Sellers. We appreciate everything you do for the profession and everything that you've done to help us out in these ceremonies over the past year as well. Appreciate that very much. All right, at this time, we are ready to begin our ceremonies. We will begin with those new admittees who have individual sponsors here today, and we'll go through each of those. Once that's done, then we'll move on to those of you who will be introduced by Ms. Greenway Sellers, and we'll handle each of those. Again, I remind you, please, number one, unmute when you are up for the movement, for moving the admission, and then put your mute back on after that until the time that we're ready to give the oath of office. And at that point in time, as Mr. Hibner said, we want everyone to unmute so that when you repeat the oath of office, everyone can be heard. So with that in mind, at this point in time, we'll begin our ceremony. And Ms. Dempsey Maddox, if you want to start us off with Mr. Benoit.
Thank you. May it please the court, I'm Casey Dempsey Maddox. I'm a member of the Tennessee Bar. I would like to introduce Chad Benoit, who is a graduate of the University of Mississippi School of Law, as am I, and a member of Couch Lambert Law Firm. Chad Benoit has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Chad Benoit's admission to practice before this court in the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dempsey Maddox. It's my pleasure to grant that motion. Mr. Benoit, we welcome you to the practice of law in Tennessee, and we wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Harmon.
I'm Victoria Herman. I'm a member of the Tennessee Bar. I would like to introduce today Amanda Coop. Amanda is a graduate of the Appalachian School of Law and is a member of the CH Law Group. Amanda has successfully completed all requirements to practice before this bar. I therefore move for Amanda Coop's admission to practice before this court in the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Herman. On behalf of the court, I'm happy to grant that motion. Ms. Coop, we welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Kennedy.
May it please the court, I'm Craig Kennedy. I'm a member of the McNair County Bar. I'd like to introduce my son, Corbin Elias Kennedy. Corbin's a graduate of the University of Memphis, Cecil C. Humphreys School of Law. He's joining me at my law firm, Deucer and Kennedy in Selmer. Corbin has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Corbin Elias Kennedy's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. We recognize this is a special day for everyone, but I think it must be particularly special when someone has a son or daughter that they're able to introduce for admission to the bar. So congratulations to the family. The court's happy to grant your motion, Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Corbin Kennedy, we welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Has Judge Brown joined us?
I have, Your Honor. Good morning. May it please the court. I'm Judge Kite Brown and I'm a member of the Tennessee Bar. I have the honor and would like to introduce to you Joshua Lewis Lester, who was my former law clerk and is a graduate of U of M Cecil C. Humphreys School of Law and has just recently completed work at Legal Aid of Arkansas at the Medical Legal Partnership at Arkansas Children's Hospital as part of a 2-year fellowship with Equal Justice Works. Mr. Lester has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Joshua Lewis Lester's admission to practice before this court in the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Judge Kite Brown. The court is very happy to grant your motion.
Thank you.
Mr. Lester, we welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. I think that concludes the list of our admittees who have individual sponsors. So at this time, Ms. Greenway Sellers, and I'll turn it over to you for introduction of our other new admittees here today.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court, I'm Michelle Greenway Sellers. I'm a member of the Tennessee Bar, and I would like to introduce Anna Carroll. She's a graduate of Birmingham Southern College and the University of Alabama School of Law. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Anna Carroll's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Greenway Sellers. The court, on behalf of the court, is happy to grant that motion. Ms. Carroll, we welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Sarah Carter. She is a graduate of Samford University and Florida State University College of Law. Her honors include graduating summa cum laude. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Sarah Carter's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Happy to grant that motion as well. Ms. Carter, congratulations. Welcome to the practice of law in Tennessee, and we wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It is my pleasure to introduce Dora Durue. She is a graduate of Vanderbilt Law School. She will be associated with Hollingsworth, LLP. Ms. Durue has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Very pleased to grant that motion as well. Ms. Durue, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce John Evans. He is a graduate of Western Kentucky University and the University of Kentucky College of Law. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for John Evans' admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Greenway Sellers. Pleased to grant that motion as well. Mr. Evans, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Robert Corey Height. He is a graduate of University of Kentucky and the University of Dayton. He will be associated with Height Law, LLC. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Robert Corey Height's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Pleased to grant that motion as well. Mr. Height, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Samuel Jacobs. He is a graduate of the University of Mississippi and the University of Memphis Cecil C. Humphreys School of Law. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Samuel Jacobs' admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Pleased to grant that motion. Mr. Jacobs, congratulations to you as well. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Katherine Millis Cayman. She is a graduate of Florida International University and the University of Miami School of Law. She will be associated with the Tennessee Justice Center. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Katherine Millis Cayman's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Greenway Sellers. It's a pleasure to grant that motion as well. Ms. Cayman, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Kristen Page Kirkland. She is a graduate of the University of Tennessee College of Law. Her honors include graduation magna cum laude. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Kristen Page Kirkland's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Pleased to grant that motion as well. Ms. Kirkland, congratulations to you. We welcome you to the practice of law and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Lisa Mcdermott. She is a graduate of the University of Iowa College of Law with distinction. She will be associated with Sidley Austin. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Lisa Mcdermott's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Greenway Sellers. Happy to grant that motion as well. Ms. McDermott, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Trevor Maher. He is a graduate of the College at Brockport State University of New York and New England Law, Boston. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Very pleased to grant that motion as well. Mr. Maher, congratulations to you. We wish you the best and welcome to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Nicole Allison Posona. She is a 1999 graduate of Northwestern University, summa cum laude. She is also a 2004 graduate of the University of Michigan Law School. She is licensed to practice law in Illinois and Alabama. She has now successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Happy to grant that motion as well. Ms. Posona, this is old hat to you, it sounds like. Congratulations, and we welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
My pleasure to introduce Colt Livingston Phelps. He's a graduate of Penn State Dickinson Law. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Colt Livingston Phelps admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Greenway Sellers. A pleasure to grant that motion as well. Mr. Phelps, congratulations to you. Welcome to the practice of law in Tennessee. We wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor, and thank you to my friends and family for getting me to this point.
There you go.
It's my pleasure to introduce Ian Christopher Roberts. He is a graduate of Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University and the University of Mississippi School of Law. His honors include graduation cum laude and a member of the Trial Advocacy Hall of Fame and a concentration in sports and entertainment. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Happy to grant that motion as well. Mr. Roberts, congratulations to you. We wish you the best and welcome to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Sarah Stewart. She is a graduate of the University of Alabama and Loyola University Chicago School of Law. Her honors include graduation magna cum laude and Alpha Sigma Nu honorary. She will be associated with Bradley Arent Bolt Cummings, LLP. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Sarah Stewart's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Pleasure to grant that motion. Ms. Stewart, congratulations to you. We welcome you to the practice of law in Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Taylor Stokes. She is a graduate of Middle Tennessee State University and J. Reuben Clark Law School at Brigham Young University. She will be a judicial law clerk for the Honorable Michael R. Montero in Nevada's 6th Judicial District Court. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Taylor Stokes admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Greenway Sellers. We grant that motion as well. Ms. Stokes, congratulations and welcome to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and good luck with your judicial law clerk position.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's my pleasure to introduce Scott Steward. He is a graduate of the University of Virginia and the University of Oklahoma Law School. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Scott Steward's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you. Pleased to grant that motion as well. Mr. Stewart, congratulations to you. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It is my pleasure to introduce Lauren Walt. She is a graduate of James Madison University and the University of Baltimore School of Law. She will be a judicial law clerk with the Memphis Immigration Court, Executive Office for Immigration Review. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Lauren Walt's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to grant that motion as well. Ms. Walt, congratulations to you. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
I believe that concludes all of our new admittees, does it not?
Yes, sir, it does.
All right. Ms. Greenway Sellers, thank you so much for your assistance in this. We appreciate it very much. It's very helpful to the court and all the new admittees. Well, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time when you become an official member of the Tennessee Bar. At this point, I would ask each of you to unmute your computers And as soon as and I'll give you just a moment to get situated. In just a second, I'll begin administering the oath of office to you. All right, let's begin. If you would raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, and state your name.
I,
Katherine
Christopher Roberts,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the
Constitution
of the United
States
and the Constitution of the State of Tennessee
and the Constitution of the State of Tennessee,
in the practice of my profession.
in the practice of my profession.
I will conduct myself with honesty,
I will conduct myself with honesty,
fairness, integrity, and civility,
and
civility.
to the best of my skill and abilities.
To the best of my skill and abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to you. We welcome all of you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee. Congratulations to you friends and family that are watching on our live stream today. We're proud of each and every one of you, and we welcome you to a very good profession, and we hope that you will have many years of prosperity in it. And again, that you will have, make sure you take the opportunity to give something back to our citizenry as well. With that, I think we have concluded our ceremony here today. So Mr. Hibner, if you'll close court for us, I believe we'll be completed.